The first modern Olympic Games was held in Athens in 1896, the brainchild of French aristocrat Baron Pierre de Coubertin. Its showpiece event was designed to be the marathon, a 40-kilometre race from the village of Marathon to Athens, intended as an homage to the ancient legend of Phidippides, who supposedly ran to Athens from the Battle of Marathon to report Greece's triumph over the invading Persians in 490 BC. Coubertin fiercely opposed women's participation in sport, believing it impractical, uninteresting, unaesthetic, and incorrect, and declaring that the Olympics is about the exaltation of male athleticism and female applause as its reward. Consequently, the first modern Olympic Games was an all-male affair. Stamata Revithi was born in 1866 on the Greek island of Syros. By the time the Athens Games were held, she was 30 years old and a mother of two. She was described, according to one contemporary account, as blonde and thin, with large eyes, and looked much older than her age. From an impoverished peasant family, she had recently arrived in Athens in search of work, and, so the story goes, had encountered a long-distance runner on the road who gave her some money, and upon discovering how far she had travelled, suggested she enter the Olympic marathon, which would grant her sufficient fame to enhance her meagre job prospects. Arriving at the village of Marathon the day before the race, Stamata attempted to sign up to compete, only to be rejected on the basis of her gender, fobbed off with the excuse that the application deadline for competitors had expired. Even the local priest refused to grant her his blessing. Her appearance, though, certainly caught the attention of the international press, who publicised her precocious banter with a male compatriot, to whose jibes she responded by highlighting the thrashings American athletes had been inflicting upon their Greek rivals throughout the Games. Her one supporter, it seems, was the mayor of Marathon, who greeted her warmly and put her up in his home for the night. Although Stamata's hopes of officially competing were dashed, she remained unperturbed. The day after the men's race was held, she set off to run the course alone, having convinced the town's mayor, magistrate, and only teacher to sign a statement testifying to the time she had departed the village. She ran the 40 kilometres to Athens, unobserved by all but passers-by, in a steady 5.5 hours, stopping along the way to enjoy the sight of passing ships at sea. She was prevented from entering the Olympic Stadium, where the men's race had concluded, but nonetheless convinced the armed guards blocking her path to at least sign the document she had carried with her from Marathon, verifying her arrival time. Her run complete, Stamata announced her intention of presenting her document to the chairman of the Hellenic Olympic Committee, in the hope that they would officially recognise her achievement. And then she vanished. It is unknown whether Stamata ever followed through on her intentions, if she subsequently found a job in Athens, or what became of her. Indeed, not a single contemporary painting or photograph of her survives. She was, in the words of one eminent Olympic historian, lost in the dust of history. Stamata proved herself a trailblazer well ahead of her time. It would be another 30 years before Violet Piercy of Great Britain became the first woman to complete an officially timed marathon race in 1926, and only at the Los Angeles Games in 1984 were women at last permitted to compete in the Olympic marathon, with American Joan Benoit winning gold in half the time it took Stamata, presumably without stopping to admire ships at sea, in 2 hours, 24 minutes and 52 seconds. If you enjoyed this content, I'd recommend checking out my new book, Hollywood's Women of Action, From the Perils of Pauline to Wonder Woman, which examines the development of the action heroine as a character from the silent screen era to the present day. It's available from Amazon and other international booksellers. To purchase, follow the link in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.